you? Yeah, well, 7 fouls and 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Griffin, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
Hello all and welcome in to Tier 1 WHF. We're here in round 3 as we head to Azerbaijan. I'm your host for this evening, WHF Ballclamp, and welcome one and all into the stream. BRL Ritzy is the first driver around returning to WHF this season. Lovely to see old SSR driver from days gone by, as a couple old faces we're seeing here today. Ollie, who making his first appearance of the season. I think we're missing... I think Ultra Titan is supposed to be here, but we're missing Ultra Titan. Who else do we have? Yeah, I think Ultra was supposed to be here, but he was here in Tier 2 yesterday, so... still counts. But for McLaren today, we have Ritzy and Hitman filling in Tier 1. As Hitman has left the session, so as TJ's retired in the pit serving his quali ban. We've got a Ferrari just ahead of Ritzy, who's on a flyer here. The Ferrari pulls out of the way of the Ferrari drivers. Hoseinman in the chat says hi everyone, as we're going to try and get... it was Hitman who lagged out, and I think he's completely disconnected because his user's not even there. But Ritzy up to the line, setting the banker for Tier 1. It's a 40.038 from Ritzy. We'll see if that's a quick time. We're actually missing Cookie here today as well, who was last season's champion, so as Hitman's thankfully got back in again. Unfortunately, hate to see Cookie miss any races. And Gordon now with a 39.276. That's the time to beat.
I am stupid.
As Star up to the line. What can Star do? It's a 38.742. Star, who had a podium last time out in Singapore. Can he get a good result here in Baku? As his teammate Mallard also had a decent race in Singapore as well. Could Williams have a strong race here today? But welcome one and all into the stream. Welcome in DZ Racer, Michael Louis, Hoseinman and Nisev, as Mallard up to the line with a 39.7. We've got Ali, who got a P2 last time out in Singapore. He's had a couple appearances in WHF, but never as successful as the run he had last time out. Can he improve on this run? We'll wait and see. As Ali up to the line. What time is the Alpine Reserve going to set? It's a 39.0. Very quick lap time for Ali there, as Hemi Dimes on a flyer in the Ferrari. We've also got Rio Harris out there, possibly closer to completing a lap. As I wonder what the V-carbs are doing. Trixie just coming up to the final corner. Trixie won in dominant fashion last time out in Singapore. And can Trixie win again here in Baku? And could Trixie be looking like this season's championship favourite? As Ho Chi Minh in the chat says, Alpine Cook. As Trixie coming up to the line. And a 37.7, a second quicker than Star, as Rio up to the line goes 2/10 slower than Star. Nis will be next around. Ritzy's lagged out. We'll try and get him in again. I think that might be his power's gone off again, as we've got a beautiful camera angle of a tree as we try and watch Nis complete his lap. As Northeast says, in Star we trust, but my lowered Trixie's lap time is something to behold as Nis crosses the line. It's a 38.1, and V-Carb just seem to be in their own world here, as Hemi Dimes with a 38.1. The Ferrari driver popping up here, and with a very, very good lap there. The top three seem to be in their own world here in in Tier 1 as Rio battling with the V-carb of Trixie? Or Nis? No, it is Trixie. As Trixie is locked up and went on. Anywho, Melts with a 40.6. We've got Stephen with a 39. He's on an in-lap. Ty's on an in-lap. Get on Xbox, aka get on Win, as he's moved to Windows, I think. Yep, settle up. We'll go on board with Hitman, who reserved for Ferrari last weekend. This weekend reserves for McLaren. And can Hitman go any quicker? Welcome in, Riley. Thank you for the follow. Welcome into the stream here. We're here in short qualifying, followed by a... God, how many laps is Baku? 25? 25? Is that right? Does that sound right to everyone? As, oh, what button did I press there? As, Hitman still continues round, let's see, can we get Ritzy back in again? Hopefully he can rejoin the McLaren driver, as at P12 time at the moment. And what can the McLaren do as he comes up to the line? Welcome in, Riley. 26 people on controller. 26 laps. They are not on controller now. Ali is retired from the session. Oh, exiting the pit lane, I think. As Get On Win comes in, I think Ali has crashed exiting the pit lane. Where's the other McLaren of Hitman? Has he also crashed exiting the pit lane? We missed all of that. Hitman and Ali both out, as Rio getting out of the way of the Haas. But we missed a whole lot there. Hitman and Ali out at turn 1, it seems, as Cody and Alfie out. Alfie had a decent result there. I think got a podium in Tier 3 in Brazil, but now up in Tier 1. Let's see how Alfie can do as Thori on a flyer. And he's also got Ollie, who's got Gordon on an out lap directly ahead of him. But I think Ollie's also on an out lap, so this is a bit confusing as Ollie's hit the wall. As I'm confused as to what these drivers are doing. I think Ollie may be coming in. And there we have it. Ollie in. Hits the wall for good measure. Lovely to see. As Thori up to P14 as he crosses the line. As Michael Lou in the Cyber on a lap, but Alfie will be the next driver rounding the final corner. Kodomatic also on a flyer here. Tier 2 champion last season moves up to Tier 1. And now we'll even get a tow from the Red Bull up ahead, I believe, of Melts, who, or it might be Get On Win, who's just starting a lap. We'll see here as Kodomatic up to the line. Where can he go? P10 as Melt starts a lap here. Brilliant lap there for Cody as he goes deep at turn 1. I think we've seen Alfie up to P3, or P13, sorry. If it were P3, it'd be saying much different things, but Alfie into P13, now down to P14 with Mallard, or actually, it might be someone else improving. I'm not quite sure who went up there. Meanwhile, might have been Michael Louis just completed a lap there, who has pipped Alfie down a spot. But everyone out there with laps except for Ollie and TJ, who is serving a quali ban. Ritzy on an out lap, so has got back in as Melt has damage on the front wing, as Ritzy about to start a lap here. But I think we'll move up to the likes of Star. He's currently in P4, but down 6/10 from Nis. Can he get closer? We'll wait and see. As Star heads through turn 15. a bit loose in the rear, but is 6/10 to the good out of the final corner. Does he have even more time to potentially threaten for pole here? It seems we've got big gaps up the front. We've got Hitman on 38.8, but I think once Star completes this lap, we'll see how big the gaps really are. As Star's actually backed out of the lap. Despite being 6/10 to the good, he's backed out. That's surprising. As Rio Harris now up to the line, improves by half a second and does a 38.219. He'll have another attempt to go around as well to improve. Michael Louis on an in-lap, Ty on a push, Kodomatic on an in. Alfie speeds into the pit lane. As anyone else of noteworthy? I think Trixie doing an extra outlap. Hemi Dimes on a flyer. Could the Ferrari have a sniff at pole here? As he seems to be backing out of the lap, maybe? Yep, is backing out of the lap, maybe not improving by enough. Nis getting a tow from his teammate Trixie, and Nis up to the line. Nis goes quickest with a 37.629. Trixie retires in the pit lane as Nis goes quickest, and currently it is a V-Carb 1-2, and V-Carb look to be having another strong performance here in Tier 1 as Get On Win crosses the line, improves by 6/10 into a 38.7. Brilliant lap there from Get On Win. As DZ Racer says, rip Red Bull. I mean, Get On Win's doing well. I don't know why you would be saying rip Red Bull. I mean... But everyone on an in-lap, it seems. No one really on a push at the moment. As Melt seems to be the only driver on an out-lap at the moment. As I think Trixie actually might have binned it into the pit lane. He's put oops in the Tier 1 chat. And I was a bit surprised when I did see him retire that early. So I think Trixie may have binned it. Yep, he says just straight lined the pit entry. Yeah. Trixie could be battling for pole here, but unfortunately has binned it into the wall. Meanwhile, his V-Carb teammate had a lovely tow, and Nis now sits on pole ahead of Rio and Hemi Dimes. Can they have a sniff at pole here? We will wait and see. Meanwhile, Melts will be our next driver round in the Red Bull. And with 2.5 minutes remaining, the drivers are going to want to pile out of the pit lane pretty much right around now. I think a lot of them are leaving it quite late to leave the pit lane. You don't have a lot of time to get around the track in Baku, so they need to all be leaving the garage immediately. I'm surprised to see not as many out there at the moment, but they're going to need to get out of the way of Melts as he boots the throttle, exiting turn 1. Heads through turn 2, is going to have maybe a mini tow from the Sauber. Is the Sauber going to block the Red Bull though? Eek! Did get out of the way, thankfully. I got a bit worried there. As, Melts into the wall. Melts into the wall at turn 3. Not ideal. And the yellow flag out for the Red Bull driver as he... I'm not quite sure what he's doing. Anywho. Anywho. as Melt struggles around the track. We'll see who is going to be next to start a lap. I believe it'll be one of the Haas's. I think everyone should make the line in time. Ritzy's the first to start. He was the first to set a lap here in qualifying. Currently down in P16, and now is going to be the next, or the first to set their final lap time in the qualifying session. As Ritzy out on a lap here. Is everyone going to make the line? There's only 30 seconds left. Are they all going to make the line? I think they should all make the line. But McLaren are going to want a good result here from Ritzy. They've got Hitman in P7 as things stand. But where can Ritzy go? And we'll keep an eye on the likes of Nis, Hemi Dimes and Rio Harris as well, who could have a sniff at pole here. Although big improvements needed by Hemi and Rio. Nis also had a lovely toe. As I think Ty actually might be further down the road from Ritzy on a lap here. So we'll stay with Ty. Can Ty improve from P11? There's a bit of a gap between Michael Liu and Ali. 5/10 is the gap. There's a lot of gaps in this Tier 1 field at the moment here. Almost 3 seconds separates the whole field. As Ty charging to the line. Where can the Aston Martin driver put their car? Doesn't improve. That means Ritzy will be the next driver around. Does he improve? Ritzy up to P10. Lovely improvement. We got Rio Harris. Oh, marginally missing out as Hemi Dimes has actually binned it at the I am stupid corner. Someone play the sound alert as he's actually binned it through the left-hander as well. That's impressive. Blood has no front wing as there's a Red Bull in behind Hemi, who's going to want Hemi to get out of the way, I'm sure. Anyway, Nis up to the line. Where can Nis go? Is improving.
I am stupid.
And Nis, as he comes up to the line, will he improve? He does improve by 300ths of a second. Nis stays pole marginally out of Rio Harris, who had a beautiful lap there, into P2. Star up to P4. Almost 8/10 improvement. Gets ahead of Hemi Dimes. Meanwhile, we've got Michael Liu up in P6. His best qualifying of the season. Get on win into P7. And there you have it. Nis on pole marginally. Rio just 0.5 behind from pole position there. TJ, a reminder, he's starting with the quali ban, so a lot of work to do for the Mercedes driver, but his teammate Rio, a brilliant lap time there, almost getting pole ahead of Trixie, who won last time out in Singapore. Star picked up his first podium of the season last time out in Singapore. Meanwhile, we've got Hemi in P5, 5/10 clear of Michael Liu with his best qualifying of the season. Then it's Get On Win, Hitman, Gordon, Ali, Ollie, Ritzy, Stephen, Cody, Ty, Mallard, Alfie, Thori Meltz, and TJ is your starting order, as I just remembered I need to put in to not, for the drivers to not...
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And hopefully no one readies up early, otherwise we will have to do a restart, which I just don't want to have to do, you know. That'd be annoying. But anyway, get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think's going to win this one? As Northeast says, Star to save Williams, and Star has been carrying a lot of the Williams points at the moment. I don't know. Oh, it's Paige. Why did I think it was? It's more just because I'm used to I'm used to saying Northie for Northie, like the father, and then because you have the P Northie, I'm like, oh, it is Page, but then I forget because I'm so used to calling Northie Northie. Already in the chat, I see some drivers debating over what strategy it is. Ritzy said medium soft it is. He is going to die. I don't think he realizes how bad the softs are in this game. The softs don't work on any track. It's a shame though. The last game they used to work on some tracks. As DZ Research says, 20 subs if Geet wins. Well, now we're rooting for Geet because we'd be rich men. If I was a rich man, yada 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 yada. Anywho, 1 minute left to get your predictions in. DZ Racer wants Geet to win. But who will be the winner? We know it won't be Cookie, who's last season's champion, who won in the opener in the Austria reversed. It was Trixie in Singapore, but who will win today in Baku? Could we have a new winner? And potentially have our third win of the season, or can Trixie win again here and extend his championship lead? As DZ Rich has put in "Let's go Geet," and I've no idea how he's even made the chat thing do that. Oh, that's like a message effect. But damn, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. But good luck everyone in the race. Hopefully we have a more calm race in Singapore, but knowing WHF and this weekend alone, will we expect that in Baku? For any drivers listening, a reminder, ghost things off! Please don't plunge into each other. As we will have the 5 red lights on here in round 3 of Tier 1. And lights are out and away we go as Nis leads us down into turn 1. Rio, has he got a decent start? Rio may get bottled up as why if we jump down to the back is on the inside. Trixie with a little bit of contact, maybe Star involved as well. As we head through turn 2, Nis is cleared out off the front as into the background. Melts has killed everyone. Melts has killed several drivers. Down the order he goes. And damage for Melts off the start as Ritzy down to P14. Nis has already gained a lead. Get on win into P5. Hemi down to P6 as he sends it on. Oh my lord, he spawned! Oh no! Massive crash! Massive crash. Hemi Names locks the rears. And I think that's Hitman's front wing gone. Michael Louis Gordon might have damage here as well as in the background. There's more carnage. Oh, and into the wall. Melts is sent. Ritzy, and oh my god, he's flipped over. The Red Bull's on his roof. What the hell? The Red Bull is flipped over. What the hell? What? Oh my god! Oh my god, that is the greatest clip ever! Oh, it's the greatest clip ever! Oh my god! Absolute cinema! So much damage on lap 1! I think half of the grid forgot that damage is on and ghosting's off. Because they've all hit each other. But dearie me, an absolutely dreadful start as in the background TJ being overtaken by Melts as we've gone green flag racing. But in the foreground we've got a couple of swap-ins. The Sauber's going to swap potentially into the pit lane. Yes they do. Gordon comes in into the wall. Gordon's out of the race. Crashes into the pit lane. Ollie follows him. And it's a VSC again. Gordon and Ollie crash into the pit lane. Oh, Jakers! Man dear! What the hell? Oh my lord. I think everyone has collectively forgotten how to drive. Deary, deary me. Deary, deary me. Can I ban everyone? Oh my lord. Oh my lord. I can't even explain what's happened. I don't know how there's only 2 drivers out already. But dearie me, what an awful start to this race. VSC out. Nis, I don't know if he's lost his lead or whatever. I've just noticed Star's livery, the Williams, is quite nice. The green flags have gone. And is everyone back inside DRS range again? Has Trixie gained DRS from Nis again? Is Nis going to give Trixie some DRS? Not quite sure, but Rio now down to P3. He can recover now. We'll get the tyre graphic up to see what everyone's gone for. A mix of mediums and hards. Thankfully, no one on the softs. Was scared Ritzy might be on the softs as Rio clobbers over the curb and takes out the little Kona's. Did Rio have damage? They're not quite sure. Everyone inside DRS range in this top 6. Thankfully, we've not had one driver just clear off the road like we had in Singapore, but still could happen. Stephen on the rear of Michael Owen, almost into the wall. Does Stephen go understeering a little bit because of the damage on that Ferrari? Is Kodamatic going to try and get through up into P8 in the background? We got Mallard swapping with Thori as it's a drag race into turn 1, and Michael Owen may come into the pit lane as Kodamatic and Stephen still battle through turn 1. Kodamatic on the outside goes very wide though. That allows Hemi back through again. The tier 3 driver of Alfie setting the fastest lap. I'm sure Alfie getting a bit of a nosebleed. Getting the fastest lap here in tier 1. That's impressive. As Trixie makes a bit of mistake through turn 3. Might open the door to Rio on the rear. Does Nis want to clear off down the road, or does he want to help his teammate? This could be key in the race. As down the order we go, Ty and Ritzy get clear of Michael and Hitman, who were back into the pit lane. But an absolutely chaotic start though. I think it's settled down now a little bit. Star right on the rear of Rio Harris as he's managing the battery in behind the V-Carbs. As Rio gotta push a little bit to stay with the V-Carbs as they may be breaking DRS, but maybe out of this corner Rio can put the battery down a little bit and get back inside DRS range from the V-Carbs. Otherwise it could be looking like a comfortable V-Carb 1-2 as Rio losing touching distance from Trixie here, and Star all over the rear of the Mercedes. Could Star be looking for the move? It makes a little error out of the final corner. Rio's got a lovely exit out of the final corner, which should get him back inside DRS range. Crucial for the race. Otherwise, it would be looking like another V-Carb 1-2 potentially on the cards here, like we seen in Austria reverse qualifying. As Rio back inside DRS range. Hemi closing to the rear of Get On Win. And Hemi sets the fastest lap here. Get On Win holding onto the rear of Star. Star went a little deep, almost into the wall at turn 1 as Kodamatic swapping with Stephen again. Mallard and TJ battle into turn 1. TJ on the inside, Mallard on the outside. Side by side they go. And Mallard into the wall. Mallard loses his front wing. Contact between Mallard and TJ. And I'm sure the stewards are going to be very busy after this weekend, not only in tier 1 but in other tiers as well. But a very, very chaotic race so far. Mallard round the outside as TJ goes deep. Mallard trying to find the grip here as they battle through turn 3. And out of turn 4, Mallard pushing on the rear of the Mercedes, who had a quali ban up to P10 now. But will Mallard be upset by their contact to turn 1? We'll see. Meanwhile, Star dropping a little bit back as Mallard may have brushed the wall there momentarily. And Star trying to stay with Rio, but has his tyres started to struggle here already in lap 4 as Star pushing like a bat out of hell to stay with the Mercedes driver of Rio Harris. But has Rio escaped DRS? Look how close the margins are. One little mistake could drop you out of DRS and leave you vulnerable to the car behind. Get On Win almost outside DRS. Star almost outside DRS. Has got to use the battery if he wants to stick with Rio, and Rio seems to have dropped him now. Rio going to try and close onto the rear of the V-Carbs. Get On Win may start to challenge the Williams driver of Star as we may have a secondary train forming here. As Hemi on the rear of Get On Win as we head into turn 1. Can Hemi outbrake the Red Bull drivers? Hemi does brake later through turn 1 and through he goes. Get On Win going to try and get back down the inside of turn 2. Side by side they go into turn 2, and Hemi round the outside gets that move to stick. Lovely move from the Ferrari driver as he's now got DRS off Star, but Star seems to have lost a little bit of time as again TJ and Mallard coming together through turn 1, and this has allowed Alfie into B12. The tier 3 driver, loving life, has seemed to have avoided the carnage here early on, and now looking for a potential top 10 here. As Mallard and TJ swap again. Mallard through. TJ going to try and get back through again at turn 4. Breaks way too late. Oh, and he just about makes it. Mallard switch back. Alfie looking in the rear of this ball as Mallard and TJ coming to blows. TJ filters in behind as TJ and Mallard battling ferociously here. And Alfie just wants to avoid the drama, I assume. Meanwhile, Hemi has lost the rear of Star. Alfie's actually got end-plate damage on the Haas. I wonder, did he get it in the battle between TJ and Mallard? Did he clip the rear of a car and get some damage here? Not quite sure. But the battling has been ferocious here in Baku. And unlike last race, the drivers at the front seem to be respectable, but it's the drivers in the midfield now who seem to be involved in the wars, as TJ on the rear. Mallard next to him, little mistake, hops over the curb, yellow flag out. Hitman's out at Castle. Where's he gone? It's a safety car exiting Castle. His left front has snapped off. Not quite sure how that has happened. Rio's jumped the V-Carbs in the pit lane. Oh, but the V-Carbs have just got out ahead of the safety car. So they'll still be able to pit here as Hitman retires. But did anyone have damage here? Did anyone get their damage fixed, I wonder? Rio doesn't have damage. Does Star have damage? I don't think so. Hemi doesn't have damage. Get on win. I think has got his damage fixed there because he dropped a little bit back there. Ali in for medium tyres. The hards, by the way, can go to the end here. 20 laps on the hards. Mallard in for a front wing. TJ on to fresh hards. Stephen drops behind the Mercedes. As Ty, 4 laps on the hards already. He's going to stay out here and probably stop again, I would say. As Alfie in. And did Alfie get his front wing fixed? Yes, he does get. Meltz does get his front wing fixed as well. As Ritzy on to another set of hards along with Thori. But Trixie and Nesev have got quite lucky that the pit lane is so short. Because they'll be able to box again and get out. And could Kodomatic play a factor in this race? He's not boxed. Will he exit ahead of Trixie and Nis is the question. Or will he be behind them? Which could give some of the hard runners a lovely run. I think Rio has got his front wing fixed because he's dropped behind Hemi and Star somehow in the pit stop phase. So Rio must have had front wing damage at some point in the race. But Kodomatic is going to play a big part in this safety car restart because either I think this may benefit the V-Carbs if they can get ahead as soon as possible. As MB in the chat says far. But what a crazy start to this race. Lap 7 safety car after Hitman in the wall. And Trixie didn't have to slow up too much. Kodomatic, will he take the lead of the race? Nis exiting the box. Can we get a good camera angle of this? As Kodomatic does inherit the lead here in Tier 1. And Star out ahead of Trixie. Hemi out just behind Trixie. And the V-Carbs actually get the benefit of the lap. Older hards won't really make much difference because it was under safety car. But you never know, by the end of the race, maybe 1 or 2% could play the difference. Or could be the difference. As...
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
Thank you for the bit scones as Star now been promoted to P2. Going to try and put some pressure on Nis here. But if Nis can get ahead of Kodomatic as soon as possible, And if Kudomatic holds up Star through a couple corners, it could allow Nis to clear off down the road. For all the drivers who are on fresh hards, they will be able to go to the end. Thori, who's boxed again for another set of mediums, will not be going to the end. Ali won't be going to the end. I think Ty on the hards may not be going to the end. Who's already 5 laps deep on these hard tyres, so he's going to need a lot of management here. And I think Ty actually has damage on his front wing. No, actually he doesn't. I'm seeing things, or not seeing things, depending on how you look at it. As I think everyone under the safety car has got their front wing fixed. 3 drivers out. Surprising it's not more after all the carnage we've seen. We've seen melts on his roof, which in any other category would mean the retirement of the Red Bull driver, but somehow has survived. No idea how, but has. As the safety car restart will be very key here when Kudomatic chooses to go, when Nis chooses to go. Will he be able to get ahead of Star? Or will he be able to stay ahead of Star and get ahead of Kudomatic and use Kudomatic as a bit of a buffer here? We will wait and see. What can Trixie, Himi, Rio, Get On Win, who all seemed very quick at the start of the race, what can they do in this restart? We'll wait and see. But lap 8 of 26. Already so much chaos. I'm not quite sure how many tickets there's going to be, but I assume there's going to be a lot. But if anyone in the chat wants to give the predictions now from here in the safety car, where will it end here? MB says only 13 cars to finish, which, given how the racing's gone so far, I wouldn't say it's that outlandish at all. Been a very chaotic race so far, and the safety car should be hopefully coming in on lap 9 with just one Alpine trailing of Thori, but surprised Thori went on to the mediums. Welcome into the stream. Thank you for the follow, Riley, again. Riley has unfollowed and followed us again. Interesting. Maybe Riley didn't like us and then he changed his mind. Actually, lads, I'll give you another chance. Yes, Melts, we caught you on the stream flipping. That is going to be a generational clip for many, many moons. What a clip, as the safety car will come in this lap. We will get Kudomatic restarting his 7 laps on these hards to Nis's 1. And we'll see what impact that plays in the race. Can Nis catch Kudomatic napping? Or can Kudomatic catch Nis napping is the question. Or will Nis get him into turn 1? This is the question. Will Kudomatic leave it late? If I were Kudomatic, I would leave it late as possible, because if he tries to catch him napping, I think everyone else behind him has fresher tyres and thus better traction. But Kudomatic's gone now. And who has got a good restart here? Star with a very good restart. Nis on the rear of Kudomatic. Is he close enough to making the move into turn 1? I don't think so. Gonna look for the move, but not too close. It's all on the inside. Himi and Trixie looking for the move here. As in the foreground, Kudomatic still defending from Nis. Can Nis get ahead here? As in the background, Rio ahead of Himi in the background. There's some more drama as Nis does get ahead of Kudomatic. Get on win side by side with Himi. As Star through on Kudomatic on the rear now. Trixie and Cody battle. And Himi's out of the race, and Himi's gone flipping around. Oh no! It's another safety car. Kudomatic down the order, tie clear with a 10-second penalty. Oh, and Trixie hits a Mercedes of Rio under the safety car. What has happened there? I am in disbelief as to what we're seeing here. If I'm Kudomatic now, if he did get damage here, now's the best time to fix it. Or at least go on whatever tires to the end. But dearie me, what a chaotic restart there. We couldn't even catch all the drama that was happening. Then there was drama up the front. Kudomatic dropping behind Trixie as Trixie lets him back through again. And Rio coming together with Trixie onto the safety car as Rio gets more damage on the right end plate. And TJ now up into P8, loving life. Ali into P6. Ali got a podium last time out. Maybe he could be looking at another podium somehow. Melts into P10. But is anyone going to box under this safety car? We'll wait and see. Hemi flying around. And who is going to enter the box here? Trixie into the box. Rio stayed out. Anyone else coming into the pit lane? There's a couple drivers filtering in. I think Stephen, Ty, and Thori. Thori smartly coming in off those mediums. But dearie me, this has been a chaotic Grand Prix. I know from Tier 3 and Tier 2, the stewards are going to be busy, and they're going to be busy again here in Tier 1. This is going to be the busiest weekend for the stewards, and thankfully, I have the day off tomorrow, so at least that is my day for tomorrow sorted. At least I know what I'm doing. But who's going to win this race? I'm not quite sure. Rio damage, Star no damage, Ness no damage. Kudomatic, I think, has survived without damage, but he did have a contact with someone. We'll have to wait and see. Surprised to see Ali stay out on these mediums. And Hemi says, this is why I'm dropping out of most leagues. Well, here lads, the only solution to fix these driving standards is to always report in the Tier 1 tickets, because otherwise the standards stay appalling. It's the only solution to the problem. Ritzy says, how's my day going? You know, Ritzy, actually alright. I visited my granny and my uncle for Easter. I actually started having my Easter egg, lads, after stream. Easter egg. Easter eggs, lads. Should I start eating my Easter egg on stream? Maybe I should. Lads, put a 1 in the chat if I should eat Easter egg on stream. 1 in the chats for Easter egg. 2 for... as Trixie's got a 10-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag. Don't know what's happened, Trixie. Hopefully he doesn't retire. I would hate to see him retire, but hopefully he can at least get his 10-second removed. He's got more wing damage as Trixie, and he's going to get his front wing fixed. He's got hards waiting for him, so Trixie will be able to go to the end here. But now he's going to fight his way through. I think we're destined to have a new race winner this season. Will it be Nis, Star, Rio, Cody, Ali, Get On, Win, TJ? I actually don't know as the controller disconnects. Been a bit crazy. MB is the only one who wants me to see his... see me eat my Easter egg. MB, I'll send you a DM of the Easter egg, don't you worry. It seems no one else wants the Easter egg. But Trixie now out. As Michael, who's also typed a 1 in. Oh yes, right lads, I might have to get the Easter egg. As Michael puts in a yippee, and Michael... lovely to see Michael, who's on track in P8, still able to put a message in the chat. But while we wait for the safety car to come in, Trixie's still cashing up. We've got our Maltesers Easter egg, lads. We'll do an unboxing. Oh, the camera's got lost. Camera, I'm over here. I'm over here. camera, I know you don't like Maltesers. You're like, no brand deals. No brand deals. You know. But here, we're going to do an unboxing, lads. Unboxing, lads. Is this ASMR? Oh my god! There's the box. But there's teaser bars! Oh, they're not teaser bars, but you know what? Oh, they're Kit Kats. Wait, did I... Is this a Kit Kat? Oh my god, I might be blind. It's a Kit Kat. I says it was a Malteser because it was red, and I didn't realize this is a Kit Kat. Box, dear me. Chat, I might be blind. As Mallard, losing a position to... Thory? What? Thory into the pit lane, that's why. Thory in for another pit stop. Let's have a look at the race director really quick. What is the race director saying? Thory and Trixie on a 4-stop. Thory's on a 5-stop. Lovely to see. On his 5th set of tyres. Here's my golden egg. Chat. And we're going to do a bit of an unwrapping. Decent racers, this from the stolen Kit Kat truck. Do not tell them. Kit Kat review. It's, you know, it's very Kit Kat-y. Yeah. I don't know how to explain this, chat, but if Kit Kat made an Easter egg, if Kit Kat made an Easter egg, which they did, this is what it would taste like. If you were wondering, that is exactly what it tastes like. Which is kind of weird because if you look at it, this is more important than the racing, lads. If you look at the egg itself, there's no like biscuit, but you can taste the biscuity biscuits. You know, you can taste it. Anyway, gents, safety cars in this lap. I know you liked the Kit Kat review, but we'll do another Kit Kat review after the stream, as Nis will get us restart here in ahead of start. As Michael Lewis says, add that to the words of wisdom, and you know, absolutely. As Thory has a 10-second penalty for hitting Trixie. As Nis is now going, Starring behind, going to try and follow him. Rio going to try and follow as well. Cody right on the rear of Rio Harris. Despite Cody being on a bit older tyres, he's still on the rear. And brakes early. Meanwhile, in the background, we've got a couple drivers into turn 1. Get on win. And TJ battling. Melts in behind, watching this battle. Michael Louis watching. In behind as Alfie in P10. As Michael makes a bit of a mistake, allows Alfie through into P9. As melts down the inside of TJ and absolutely hits the rear of his teammate. Get on win. And Get on win, not going to be too happy with that. Alfie round the outside of TJ. And Alfie putting the moves on a tier 1 driver. Get him gone. Get him sacked out of the tier. Star now losing touching distance from Nis here, it seems. As a yellow flag out and melts! Melts again at this corner! As Mallard and Stephen Beecham stuck together. Oh my god. Melts and Trixie involved. Trixie with more damage, it seems. Oh, and Melts is into the wall! At the I am stupid corner, it's another safety car. Oh, sorry. Into the wall. Somehow Thory's ghosted. Ghosting's off. Mallard's got a 10-second for no reason, but has wing damage. At least the 10 seconds should get removed. But dearie me. Lads, BRL Ritzy is 7th. Absolute scenes. Lads, if Ritzy is gonna win this race, I might do many inappropriate things on stream. Like, genuinely. Like you don't even want to believe. If I'm Rio, I'm definitely getting a new front wing on the car. Does Rio do that though? We'll wait and see. Get on win 10 seconds spinning the pit lane penalty 4. Oh, Ritzy, you bottled it! You bottled it! Why? Alfie's also bottled it. Deary, deary me. Rio has got his front wing fixed, thank the Lord. But Alfie and Ritzy have both not gone in. So, yeah, there's no... Yeah. Alfie and Ritzy are cooked. Alfie is damaged, so he's even more cooked. Ty is the only driver who should have possibly stayed out because he's only done 4 laps on the hards. He'll still get swamped, but he might gain if he did box. So I think Ty actually will gain from this strategy. Whereas Ritzy and Alfie, their tyres are too old to gain here. As Nis and Star are still in the favourite position. Get on win. I think he got the 10-second spinning the pit lane penalty. So get on win if you're listening to the stream. I would box again to remove the 10-second because you'll gain time than if you don't, you know. If you stay out, you'll lose that time for sure, whereas you'll probably gain it back if you serve this pit lane, in the pit lane. But lads, just think of the possibilities of another Kit Kat reveal, you know, Kit Kat Easter egg reveal. You know, just if you're having a bad day, just have a Kit Kat Easter egg, you know. Hochin says, I think we've reached the max of safety cars. We need an Arrow cooking stream. I was actually cooking earlier. Although my cooking consists of heating up pasta and then putting sauce in it, and that's it. That is how complex my eating skills go. Or not eating, but cooking. Let's get on win into the pit lane, and does get his 10 seconds served. That's a smart move from the Red Bull driver. Removing the 10-second penalty. And that will definitely benefit the Red Bull driver here. But will Thori get ahead of him? Not quite sure. It'll be close. As he does get on win down to the back of the field, but on 8-lap old hards. Not incredibly ideal. As Trixie up to P11 now, has a front wing. Does everyone else have a front wing? Rio seems to have a front wing. Ali onto fresh mediums. These mediums actually probably will go to the end. 11 laps on the mediums at Baku is a stretch, but it is doable. Kodamatics has been the biggest benefactor of this safety car for sure, as Ritzy looks to overtake the safety car, as Ritzy normally always does. Always loves to give the Burt Mylander a bit of a stressy time. But what did I miss in Tier 1? Who has pinged me? Hemi says, ban tracks like this, I beg, whenever he is the one who wanted Baku. I mean, you give the people what they ask for, and the people, I don't know, they don't like it. Who knows? Who knows? There's a saying there somewhere. Anywho, onto the safety car restart will go. Ritzy will try and get us restarted here. Probably going to be more chaos. Can people survive? I am worried. I must be honest, after seeing the chaos in Abu Dhabi yesterday, I was not looking forward to today in Baku, because I was like, If Abu Dhabi's chaotic, I can only imagine Baku. As Ritzy will try and get us restarted here. And Alfie right on the rear of the McLaren, going to try and time this perfectly as Ali gets a 10-second after hitting the rear of Kodomatic. Ty on the rear of the Haas's. A couple of drivers trying to get the jump, and Star on the inside of Ty. And Star could potentially have a big move into P3 as into the wall goes Nis. Ty's around in the background. There's more baseball. Absolute calamitous crashes. Dearie me. Both V-carbs down and around the order. Star got ahead of the Aston Martin. Star now ahead of Alfie into turn 2. And Star now is the favourite to win here in Baku in an absolutely chaotic Grand Prix. As Stephen now down the order. Stephen spun at a really bad place. Oh, the Red Bulls kissed him of get on win. Oh, that was so romantic. Stephen gets a 10-second, which is unfortunate. He was just paused there. I mean, not much he could do. As Ali on the inside. Rio, what's he doing? He's sending it there. That's such a risky place to send it. Rio has to back out. Hits the rear of Ali. Dearie me, this has been a chaotic race. And the chaos is just never ending. Star now through into the lead. What a place to make a move. And Star takes the lead of the race. Nis through on Mallard. But Nis has no front wing, it seems. Ty and get on win swapping. What is happening? TJ's around after contact with Trixie. Oh, and the Alpine around. It's a bigger crash. Oh, everyone's forgot how to bloody drive. Oh, my lord. Ali and Alfie swapping. Rio going to try and get ahead of Alfie now. Oh my lord, this has been the most hilarious race. Alfie going to try and get back ahead of the Alpine. As Rio going to try and pick this where that Alfie swaps to the inside. Rio on the outside of Alfie, side by side with Rio. Rio gets through, Alfie down the other. Surely he's going to let through Kodomatic to let through his teammate into P5. Kodomatic with potentially his best finish in WHF on the cards here. The Tier 2 champion on with a chance for the podium as Rio on the outside of Ali. Side by side they go through turn 3. Rio gets round the outside. Beautiful move from Rio Harris. And Rio looking for a P2 this race as Trixie through on Thori. But dearie me, it's been a tumultuous race for so many drivers. Nis into the box. As Cody's actually got wing damage. Right end blade gone for Cody. Could that hurt his chance? Ali looks for another podium here, but has a time penalty. Will that cost Ali? But Ali has been benefiting from all the chaos in this race. Meanwhile, Ritzy, if only Ritzy had boxed under fresher tyres, I could genuinely say he'd be going for the podium, but he'll definitely be swamped with 9 laps to go. Ain't no way is Ritzy holding on to the podium from here as Michael Louis gets through, and Alfie, who's got major wing damage on the Haas. If I were Alfie, I'd box now to try and limit the damage for sure. But an absolutely chaotic race here as Rio right on the rear of Ritzy. And Rio surely going to get through, but now the gap to Star is 4 seconds, and Star looking for his first win of the season, and Williams are having absolute limbs in the stands as Rio now down the outside of Ritzy, going to try and get round the outside of Ritzy. Side by side they go, contact between Rio and Ritzy as Ali going to kind of try and get round the outside of Rio or Ritzy as well. Side by side they go through turn 3. Ritzy backs out and allows Ali through, who's now into P3. Ali looking for another podium here on the cards as Kodomatic on the rear of Ritzy. Can Cody get through on the McLaren driver as in the background Stephen through on TJ. So many drivers involved in the wars here, and after this weekend I think we're going to have the record amount of bans. Dearie me, there's so many bans already scheduled before this round as TJ and Stephen into the wall they go. More contact between Stephen and TJ. And dearie me, Kodomatic looking for a podium here, which would be the first in his Tier 1 career. As he looks to try and get ahead of Ritzy. Ritzy may fall back from Ali. Ali looking for his second podium of the season as Nis is out! Nis is out at the castle! Or out at turn 3. And Mallard gets through. There's no safety car. I think we have reached the limit of safety cars. Ness is out of the race at turn 3. And so many of the championship leaders are gone. Starr and Rio Harris are going to benefit from this race massively in the championship, because they have kept it clean here. But can Rio catch Starr is the question on these medium tyres, or will Starr win? I think Starr has the advantage. The hards are a much stronger tyre on this game. Meanwhile, Cody going to try and get through on Ritzy. Can he get through on the McLaren as Trixie in the background gets through on Alpha, who's still yet to box here. Cody going to pick the outside of Ritzy into turn 1. Ritzy going to come in. He's gone too long on those hard tyres and possibly the wrong move. But Michael Louis also with a sniff at the podium here. Could Michael Louis be on the podium? Trixie into P6. Alfie P7, doing well despite his damage, I must say, and his old tyres. As Scones says, come on Mike, who could be on for a podium here? He's inside DRS range from Kodomatic, but both him and Kodomatic have damage. Ali does not have damage, but does have a time penalty. It's a 10-second. He won't get that removed. Unless, well, maybe he might get it removed. Maybe. We'll see what the stewards say. Probably not because of all the safety cars, but we'll see. As Michael Louis now. As Michael Louis and Cody. Scones, the rule depends if Ali received that 10-second under the final safety car, then it can be removed. But if he received the penalty before the final safety car, then it cannot be removed. So it depends on the timing and when he did receive the penalty. So we'll wait and see. If there was another safety car, then it would not be removed. So Ali wants to hope that there's no safety car. But Michael Louis and Cody inside DRS range from Ali. Both of them would jump. As Michael Louis through on Kodomatic. And Michael Louis could be the favourite here for a podium for Sauber. And the Sauber drivers are going to be absolute limbs. Who knew this was going to be the podium? If I had told you current podium favourite is Starr, Rio and Michael Louis. Who would have imagined that before the start of the race? But can Ali hold on to his position? If Ali does get his 10-second remove, he'll get a back-to-back podium here. But Michael Louis will probably want to make this move on track. If anyone is listening and is engineering for Michael Louis, tell him that Ali's pen may be removed, so you have to get the move done on track. Otherwise, Michael Louis may just sit behind, which might be silly if he does that. But we'll wait and see. The battle for the podium certainly raging on. Trixie in the P6 will look to join it if he can. Alfie doing well in P7 here. But Thori and Ty going to be on the charge here. Ritzy in P10. And on his return, I'm pretty sure he would have taken P10. But he's on the fresh medium, so may start to catch even higher. Here's Ty. Oh no! Oh no! Alfie's into the wall! Thori's into the wall! Ty into the wall! Ty's out of the race! Ritzy into the wall! Massive crash at Castle again! Oh my lord! And there's no safety car, and Stevens just crashed into them. Why does no one know what a yellow flag is? Why do none of you know what a yellow flag is? Christ! On a flying bicycle! Michael Louis now on the outside of Ali, gets into P3. Can he hold on to it for the remainder of the race? No one can blame ghosting. No one can blame, oh, it's Baku. No one just knows there's a bloody yellow flag. They don't bloody slow down for it. Jakers, man, dear. Thori's out of the race. Stevens out of the race. No. No. Oh, my God. Oh, there's only 10 drivers left. There's only 10 drivers left. I can't believe it. Ritzy's in for sauce. Oh my God, I'm lightheaded. I'm lightheaded. Oh my God. Oh, I'm my god, this is hilarious. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is the funniest race I've ever commentated. No one knows what a yellow flag is. Christ on a bike. Christ on a bike.
I am stupid. I am stupid.
Deary me, Michael's now dropped Ali out of DRS. Kodamatic gonna try it back inside DRS, but Trixie could be an outside chance for the podium. He's on a charge here on the hard tyres. He's got DRS off Cody. It will slingshot him onto the rear of Ali. Can he get slingshot onto the rear of Michael and potentially sneak a podium here? Despite how bad Trixie's race has gone, the championship leader could still have a podium, which I'm sure he'll take considering how badly his race has went. And Trixie now in the rear of Ali. Can he get him into turn 3? Ali goes defensive on the inside. Trixie on the outside, unable to find the move. Ali going to keep defending here. Defending well. Trixie unable to find the gap on the Alpine driver as he goes a bit wide. And really parking the car on the inside of the very apex. As we head now round the left-hander. Can he get round the outside? Unable to find it through on the chicane. Trixie out of the chicane. Planting the throttle, we get a horrible camera angle as Trixie on the inside now. Gonna send it on Ali, side by side they go. Absolute beautiful battling through the right-hander here, and Trixie finally gets through on Ali. Beautiful move from Trixie, and Ali did all he could to defend, but beautiful move there from Trixie. But all that battling has really helped Michael Louis here. Can Michael hold on to the podium, which would be his first Tier 1 podium, I'm pretty sure, in WHF. But this has been one of the funniest races I've ever commentated on WHF Tier 1. Oh my lord, lads. Sci-Fi says the Ferraris are gone. Yeah. No points for Ferrari, a bit of a shame. Ferrari are in the mud. But anyway, it's been a disaster class for many teams. And Ali got to look to hold on to P5 here. Kodamatic wants to get ahead if possible. But Kodamatic might have to do this move on track because Ali's 10-second may get removed as Alfie, one of the many retirees in this on this race. And, oh, dearie me, what a race it has been. Can Michael hold on to the podium? We're all rooting for him. But Trixie is the championship leader for a reason. He may catch him before the end. There's 3.5 laps to do it. Can Trixie catch Michael by the end? Michael's the lap fresher, hard tyres, and has right end plate damage on the Sauber. Can Michael hold on to this podium? It would be a beautiful podium if he can. Ritzy with the fastest lap. And Ritzy has a top 10 on his return.
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
And potentially the fastest lap will get on win in for the fastest lap himself. And what a hilarious race this has been.
No heroics into Sandoval, please. We're in amongst the pack.
And Trixie has almost gained a second on Michael Louis on this lap alone. He has gained a second on Michael Louis. Is the damage just too much for Michael? As Trixie just 1.7 behind now. Can Trixie catch him before the end of the race? There's half a second to the DRS gap to Trixie. Can Michael manage enough here in this race? Or will Trixie find himself back on the podium? Meanwhile, in the background, we've also got Kodamatic on the rear of Ali. And can Koda get ahead? He has to make this move. As Ali actually going to come into the pit lane to remove his 10 seconds. So his 10 second will be removed. But he now will drop behind TJ potentially. At least he can go for the fastest lap. But maybe give up trying to stick ahead of Kodamatic, who now has a P5. Meanwhile, Trixie 1.8 behind Michael Louis. Does he have the pace through the middle sector to catch? We will wait and see. And Ali, where will he exit? Does exit behind TJ, but how much is the gap? See, that's the thing though. Ali just give up. He gave up P6 and P5 for no reason. I mean, he could have got P5. We didn't see this, what the steward said, but now he can't really, so I don't really know what he's doing. But Ritzy now in the rear of Mallard. Ritzy looking for P8 here. Which, what a return it has been for Ritzy here. And what a chaotic race it has been. And Ritzy now out of the chicane. Just has way better grip on these soft tyres than Mallard. And side by side they go. And still side by side. Mallard going to keep it ahead of Ritzy. But you don't want to DNF this late in the race. We're on the penultimate lap. Oh, well, at least Star has started the penultimate lap of the race. And what a chaotic Grand Prix it has been. This has got to be one of my favourites for sure. As Ritzy on the rear of Mallard. Going to dive bomb here. Not a place you want to be going for the move at all. As Ritzy makes a mistake though. And leaves Mallard the space on the outside. Good to see. At least two people on the track know how to race each other. But dearie me, this has been an absolutely mental race. Trixie still has not got inside DRS range from Michael Louis, so Michael Louis still holding on strong. And we're rooting for Michael here. Please, Michael, as he boots the throttle. As we go on board with him, boots the throttle, loses some time on traction there. As he tries to stick ahead of Trixie. But will Trixie catch him here? As Michael has a little correction, and will that be enough for Trixie to get inside DRS range here? As they're about to start the final lap here. And I think Trixie might have it. Yeah, Trixie inside DRS range. Ritzy still unable to get past Mallard here. Possibly trying to make the moves in places you don't want to be making them. But has Michael been managing the battery? We're not quite sure. We don't have a good angle of it. But Star is about to start the final lap, and what a race it has been for Star. What a win it'll be. And that safety car restart was key for Star. Got ahead of Tycler and Nis under the safety car restart. And that is what has won Star the race. Nis got essentially caught up in all the drama. And now DRS enabled for Trixie. Can Michael hold on through turn one? He may go defensive, Trixie. Gonna try and play it patient. Michael goes a little deep through turn one. Trixie now right on the rear of the Sauber driver as Ritzy and Mallard swap through turn 15. We're gonna stick on with this battle as Ritzy does get out of Mallard. And we've got Trixie back on the rear of Michael Louis. And through turn 3, Michael stays ahead. Can Trixie out of turn 4 get the move? Boots the throttle again, swaps to the inside, hits the rear of the Sauber, and Trixie almost around, big half spin. And will that give Michael the advantage? Trixie with a big mistake, which could hand Michael Louis the podium here as Mallard into turn 1, getting back ahead of Ritzy. And can Ritzy find the switch back to get ahead of Mallard here as we battle over P8? Ritzy down the inside of turn 2, Mallard leaving the space, but can he find an exit out of turn 2 and get ahead? Meanwhile, Ali now on the rear of TJ. Is he close enough to making a move? Not just yet. But Ali gonna be quick through the middle sector. Can he make a move on TJ through it? We'll wait and see. But not close enough as of right now. But we're going to move up to the front, and we're going to go to the man of the hour, who has dominated the race since the last safety car, but we never really expected that Star would have this dominant of a win here in Baku. What a win it has been for Star. Meanwhile, Rio Harris in P2. Trixie is going to try and catch Michael Louis, but has he got enough in the tank? I don't think he has. Michael Louis on the podium here in WHF Tier 1. You absolutely love to see it. Ali gets through on TJ before the final corner, but as TJ playing some DRS games, Ali makes a mistake. As we got a horrible camera angle, Mallard through on Ritzy. Ali going to try and get back through on TJ. DRS enabled for Ali in a moment's time. Has he got the straight line speed to catch TJ? TJ's flashing on the rear. It's a charge to the line. Ali on the outside. TJ turns in on him and is going to get a big penalty for that as Mallard on the rear, or Ritzy on the rear of Mallard. Can Ritzy get ahead of Mallard at the line? Mallard may hold on here, and Mallard side by side at the line. Oh my lord, there was like 200s in it, and I think Ritzy just about scores a P9. What a crazy race. Oh my giddy aunt, that has been the most insane race I've ever commentated on in my life. Yep, Scones in the chat says Stewart's going to be busy after this one, and this is going to be the busiest weekend of the Stewards' lives. I'm so glad I have tomorrow off work, because if I didn't, I would be thinking about it the whole time. As Mallard gets driver of the day, fastest lap for Ali. Star wins ahead of Rio Michael. Trixie still gets a P4 despite, excuse me, how chaotic his race was. And dearie me, what an insane race. We've got the race director in.
Or if you pull Star into here for his interview.
I have no idea how to do that, so tell him,
okay.
Just ping him to join. What an absolutely insane race, dearie me. Michael's joined us. Thank you for joining us, Michael. I believe that's your first podium in WHF Tier 1, and what a podium it was. You held off Trixie despite your damage. How were you able to do it? Michael.
No idea.
What a race.
That was something. I had wing damage through the entirety of the race, because every time I pitted to fix the wing, as soon as we went green again, someone would knock it off. So, yeah, I don't know. I have some experience. I raced at Azerbaijan 2 weeks ago, also with a damaged front wing, so I knew that it was possible. I knew that I didn't have to pit. As long as it wasn't red, it wouldn't feel too bad. But, yeah, being at the back for the majority of the race was not fun. But then I saw my opportunity to try and get up to P3, and then I knew that the RB was going to be quick, and the main thing that I did was manage the ERS. But I saw as we came into the beginning of the second sector, I saw that he was going to go for a move, so I just went defensive, and he went for the move anyway and just hit me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'd made the move already, so I think that was okay. But that was mental, and I knew that I'd saved enough battery so that I could power all the way to the end. And yeah, that was so much fun. What a way to get a first podium.
Yeah, an absolutely sensational race, and what a podium it was. That was absolutely beautiful. And even though people can argue you lucked your way up there, I would argue you earned it, because Trixie was not that far behind, and you still were able to hold him off for a good couple laps there. That was a major defence, and a thoroughly earned podium there from Michael.
Thank you very much.
But congrats on the podium, Michael, and hopefully we see more in the future.
I just need to hope for Nisev and Rio and Star, just all to, and Cookie. Yeah, if 4 people DNF, then I should be on for another podium at some point.
Yeah, you make a good point. Us turning ghosting off has made this league far more exciting, because all of the leaders keep hitting each other, and it makes me laugh a lot, so...
it's nice to see that they can't drive the way they normally would.
Yeah,
because it will punish them.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to leave space for your opponents, and a lot of people keep getting caught out because of it. But anyway, congrats, Michael, as we'll move on to Rio in P2. Involved in a lot of wars that whole race there, Rio, but you made your way up to P2, and you were able to smoothly sail home and towards the end. But how did that race go for you, Rio?
It's just stupid. The standards. It's like no skill needed to get up there. It's a bunch of luck needed to make positions for most people, but it's whatever. But I'm happy with second. I gained on everyone in the championship, so whatever.
Well, thank you for that, Rio, and congrats on the P2. As we'll move on to Star. And Star, I must point out how skillful that safety car restart was, because you seen this choosing the outside of Ty Clear, and then you dive bombed the inside of both of them, got through, and that was all you needed essentially to win the race, because Nis got caught up in all the drama, and you were able to skip down the road pretty comfortably. But oh wait, hold on. The said racer has donated something. That was loud. But Star, how'd that race go for you?
Well, you summed it up pretty well, to be fair. 2 secs.
Mm. Well, wherever Star has gone, we will wait for him to return, but are you back?
If you want, whilst we wait for Star, I can give my input as the engineer for Star.
Yeah, please do, Ledge, man.
It genuinely, me making those strategies, I was sat there and I think I made about 6 to 8 strategies where people just kept on dying and causing safety cars. And then when people crashed the castle section, I literally had sweat dripping down my forehead because Star had built such a comfortable lead. We worked it out that he was going to have such a good offset on Rio in the final few laps after lap like 21. And we're just praying for it to not all get ruined. But it was an amazing drive from Star, all round strategy. We chose the harder allocation, which we kind of wish we didn't at a certain point. But I think in the end, it ended up working out pretty well. Nice little bit of luck, but honestly, amazing drive from Star, and that should
be back.
Williams.
Sorry about that.
There you go, and I'll pass it back to you, Star.
Yeah, I was terrified that I'd done something wrong on that restart. I would not have driven that hard in the clean air if I wasn't so terrified.
Mm-hmm.
But I've built out the reasonable penalty gap if I'm found to be at fault, which is all I could do, really.
Well,
so yeah, the first half of the race was a bit stinky. Obviously, I need to see the rest of the POVs from that dive, but there's not a lot I could do.
Well, Star, I will say what you missed is one of the Red Bulls flipped on its head earlier in the race, so that was funny. That'll be a funny. That'll be a funny clip to watch back.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So
I will be watching that 100%. But yeah, quick funny story. I said to Ledge after missing Austria that I'd just be happy with a race win that didn't involve any bullshit and didn't involve any safety cars. And I didn't care about the championship. I just wanted to win on merit. And I think by dive bombing Nis at 3 wide, despite all the safety cars that I suppose didn't help me but didn't screw me, I've probably done that. So I'm pleased. I'm really, really pleased. I put a lot of practice into this for once. I don't often get the chance. So like I said, I'm really happy with how everything's ended. Shame to see literally half the grid retire, but such is the track, I suppose. I think I've showed my 6 years of experience with all that decision making there, to be honest, and as Ledge has summed up, fair fucking play for the strategy.
Yeah, it was. I don't. Well, if you are getting a penalty, I haven't seen what it was for. In my eyes,
for the dive, because I dived and then looked back and saw everybody in the turn 1 wall, so I sort of shit the bed a bit. I have it clipped, so.
Well, I'm guessing we'll see what the stewards say after the race, but I personally didn't see anything. But I thought Nis had chosen the outside, and you switched to the inside, and then were able to get through, and that was key, because it was like once you get through on Nis, and you're the driver who essentially gets to get clear of Ritzy and Alpha, because they both had old tyres, so it was really a matter of time before they lost the position. All that race really was that final safety cars whoever was able to cut their way through the field first would win, and Star, you were the man to do it. And a deserving win for yourself. And Williams, I'm sure, including Ledgeman, the team captain, is going to be absolutely throwing shapes and loving life now that Williams have a win here. And a big points for Williams. Not only that, but Mallard getting a P8, I believe, because the graphic is not loaded correctly on my screen. But
Ledge has already done his own.
But yeah, Mallard a P8. So Williams going to gain massively in the championship. I believe they were last in the OCC before the start of the race, but now I'm going to look. I'm actually going to I'm going to see now where Williams are following that. Let's have a quick look. Williams.
What's the drivers' championship like?
Williams jumped to P7. You'd love to see it. Red Bull.
The target was beat the fucking Saubers, bro.
Yeah,
no way.
Red Bull, who are one of the favourites going into the season, are now down in P8.
Where are we?
Oh my god, we're ahead of Red Bull. Shut up.
That is crazy. Merck are third.
Cookie who?
Haas lead ahead of Aston Martin. Codomatic getting some crucial points there for Haas in P5 as well.
What's the Tier 1 championship like?
Let's have a look now. I genuinely don't know who it's going to be. Trixie is still leading because he did get P4 despite how chaotic his race went. Was still able to recover. Rio is 11 points behind. Star 6 points behind Rio. Nis 9 points behind Star. Then it's Michael Louis P5. Then it's TJ. Then it's Cookie. I always knew Michael Louis was a stronger driver than Cookie. You know, I always had faith in him. You know what I mean? But
What's the constructors?
This constructors is Racing Bulls lead by 15 points over Mercedes. But MB says, is Sauber now last in the OCC? No, they're not. Let us see who's last. I have a weird feeling it might be Ferrari. I really hope it isn't. Oh, Ferrari's actually fifth. It's McLaren who are last. McLaren are last with 106 points. Then it's Alpine on 126. Then it's Red Bull on 134. Although I don't think I scored Get On Win. So I think Get On Win actually did get some points. I think Red Bull actually might be P5. It just hasn't scored them correctly because sometimes the app doesn't recognise some of the drivers. But anyway, I'm sure off stream we'll sort out who's finished where. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, this has been WHF Tier 1 Round 3. One of the most insane races I've ever commentated. 10 drivers out. Deary me. Stewards are going to be the most busiest they've ever been because not only was Tier 3 chaotic, Tier 2 chaotic, but Tier 1 seemed to be the most chaotic of all. And I'm expecting some several driver bans this weekend. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please drop us a follow. Also give a follow over to Concept 7, who are about to raid. But thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next week, and goodbye.